Okay, so that's the case for everybody, that I sound like I'm underwater.
How do you sound fine?
Yeah, you sound fine now.
Now I sound fine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're good. You're good. Gucci.
Alright, I'm gonna mute myself.
Gucci.
Okay, let's get started
Thank
again.
you.
We only have one last slide. Today was probably going to get ended super short, but I'm so sorry. I think if you guys want to look out, I'm pretty sure we're going to start beginning using Zoom. I know we're finally all getting used to Teams, but I think Teams has been causing a lot of problems for a lot of teachers, including myself, because my Wi-Fi should not have gone down. I don't know if it was my laptop or if it was Teams, but I had to reset my entire Wi-Fi this morning. It was very frustrating. And now apparently Teams is not going to be recording the live sessions. Yes, I do think so. I think that Teams is just it's not really doing what we need it to be doing. And the videos, like I said, are not going to be uploading anymore. I have to manually download them and then upload them, and that it takes so long for me to get those videos posted to YouTube because they're long videos. So just keep a lookout in your email before Monday, okay? For a Zoom link. If everybody can go on to office.com and then click that Outlook button. So how about I show one more time? Oh, please. I don't know if it's going to work. You guys can see, correct? Yeah, okay. So, Office.
Oh crap. Virus. Oh. Oh no! It fell over.
Not you guys can hear the mic not muted. Okay. Thank you. So keep a lookout, please, before by Sunday, you will get the link for Monday's meeting, okay? So please, please, please make sure that you are looking out, because Teams is not working and we have too much stuff we have to start covering next week. This week was really simple. It was really sort of easing into things, and next week is going to be more so a little bit more difficult, and that's sort of what I wanted to use our social studies lesson to explain to you all. Anyway, we're going to start using the book. We're going to have to cover a lot more in class in the short time that we're together. So I really need you guys to be prepared. Piece of paper and pencil with you guys at all times for both English and for social studies, okay? Elvie, I see you have your hand up.
So, will it just be for your class or like for our whole day? Like for all the teachers?
I'm not quite sure what Miss C wants you guys to do. You might have to ask her for a little different, but I'm assuming that having a piece of paper and pencil out for her class. I'm sure that's fine too. She probably would like that.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Zoom.
I don't know. Maybe ask Miss C when you're in her class today. I think you might have math with her, and let her know, okay? Because I'm not sure what she's gonna do, but all the teachers got that email from Mr. Chico, so she probably will as well. I don't know what she prefers, but things is too complicated.
Okay.
Okay. Good question. We will start. We have only one slide today for social studies, but I thought it was a really important slide, a very relevant slide considering what is going on in the world now. That's sort of history that you guys are witnessing. Okay, so can you all see my screen? I can only see one of you at a time, but can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see Elvie Marin here?
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about the Civil War, okay, and and the sort the Civil War was the sort of the fighting from brother against brother, right? We sort of got into that, and that sounded really interesting. So the last slide, we're gonna make a huge jump. And does anybody have anything they might want to say about this picture right here? The civil rights.
Looks like the protesting.
Yep. Who said that?
Yeah, it really does actually.
Was this Ureli? Was that Ureli?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have something they want to say? Okay. So Ureli was right on the dice. That's exactly what they were doing, which is why I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to spend the day on this. I figured we were going to get out super early, but I wish you guys had a lot to say, which I'm hoping you still do. But that's exactly what they're doing. They're protesting, okay? And does anybody know what they might be protesting for?
Yes.
Who's that?
And about rules.
About what?
About rules. I'm trying to read it, but I really can't.
I'm sorry, Ureli. I can't hear you. I heard you say about rules.
Okay.
Okay.
If you look closely at China and rules in public schools.
Okay, yeah. So end segregated rules in public schools. So does anybody know what segregation was? Have you guys heard of it at least? Okay, Michael, go ahead. Share your thoughts.
It's like when someone can't do something another person can't do just because of their I forget. It's something like that. It's like they can't do something but another person can do it, right?
Sure, yeah, something like that, exactly. So that's a really good way to put it. So remember how we talked about slavery really briefly when we were talking about Harriet Tubman? So basically, when slavery was abolished, or in the United States, it was called, like, when it was ended, when it was banned, let's say, you would assume that Black people would be given the same rights as everybody else. But since the racism was so deep in the country and in a lot of people who lived in the United States, they came up with these things called Jim Crow laws. And basically what they did was they made it seem like, yeah, Black people have freedom and they can have, certain things, but there are still certain things that they can't have that white people can. And that's why there were things, I don't know if you've ever seen like old movies or movies that were set in the 60s, or maybe you guys watch Umbrella Academy. It was a big theme in season 2 of Umbrella Academy. I love that show. And it was segregation. And it basically meant that, let's say we were in school right now.
Yeah, I do like that show too.
Yeah, good show. So basically, let's pretend we're in school right now, okay? And what they would do is they would make the white people drink from one water fountain, and they would make the Latino people drink from another water fountain. And then they would make Black people drink from a different water fountain. And they basically said anything based on the color of your skin is the way that we're going to treat you. And it was terrible. It was awful. And so that's why the big character, or not character, but let's pretend, if it's easy for you to remember it as if it's a movie, but the big figure in all of this was Martin Luther King Jr. And if you can see, he's right here. And he was sort of the face of this movement, the civil rights movement. Okay, he was a huge leader, and unfortunately, he was killed. He was killed because he was standing up, for his rights, for the right thing to, the right thing in the United States. And unfortunately, he was killed for that. So it goes to show the sort of ideals that were built into our country, and it was founded on a lot of things that, like racism, which is pretty bad. So I thought that was an interesting slide to spend some time on, because if some of you guys pay attention to the news now, or you've heard somebody talk about it, it sounds a lot like the Black Lives Matter movement, right? These are groups of people who are fighting for what they think is their basic right to live, but they're not granted that in our country. So what they're doing is protesting. I have Hans, Lily, and Elvie, and then we can take our break. Even though you guys feel like you just got on, I can't cut your break.
So so they've been like protesting ever since like we were not even born.
So that's a good question. So they began protesting. This started taking place around, I think it was the late, let me see. I have the date written. So your question is, when did it start? Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It was started in the 50s and it ended in the late 60s. So that really wasn't that long ago. So maybe our great grandparents were alive, or maybe even our grandparents. I know my grandmother was alive during this time. So yeah, what they were protesting were their rights. And then that's when the end of segregation came. You know, they said, okay, you guys, we can all go in the same school and stuff like that. What today's movement is highlighting is the police brutality against Black men and women. It has a lot to do with why are Black people arrested more often than whites for same crimes, and it's a very, very political conversation, but it is one that is happening today, and very similar. Good question, Elvin.
So like in the 50s and 60s, the protest was there. Finally, it calmed down, and then they started again, and then it calmed down for like 2 months, and then they started again.
Right. Yeah. So it's been an ongoing thing. It happens often, but it is a fight for their rights, right? And that's why it's called the civil rights movement. Okay. And by civil, they mean like, remember when we talked about the Civil War? That was a long time ago. So they're saying these are our basic rights to live here. How can you say that this is a free country for all when Black people aren't given the same type of freedom as others? So it's a really interesting thought, really interesting piece. But I appreciate your guys' patience with me this morning. Please, 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 keep an eye out for Zoom. And I might, yeah, that's probably it. I have to begin teaching from school because I cannot have this happen again. We missed a lot of class time. But don't worry, it was going to be an easy day as is. And ELA is going to be a bit fun. I hope everybody turned in their homework because we are going to be looking at everybody's pieces of art as a class. So that is going to be fun.
Miss Gomez.
Yes.
Are you going to be a lawyer?
I am going to be a lawyer, Julian. That is a great, great question.
Oh, cause my friend just told me that Miss C told her that you were going to be a lawyer.
Yeah, that is the plan. Law school. I have to do 3 more years of school, even though I graduated from college. Then I have to take a really hard test, like the hardest test, one of the hardest tests in the whole world. And if I pass, I can become a lawyer.
I hope you're a good one.
Thanks. And hopefully none of you need lawyers when you get older. But if you ever do, I will be there.
Okay.
Okay. So go ahead and take your brain break. Don't leave the meeting. Shut up.
Miss Gomez.
Mm-hmm.
On what PLA you're planning to be on?
I'm sorry?
Never mind.
I'm sorry, Lily, I cannot hear it. Julian, please don't forget that your mic is not muted. Okay. All right. Why does my camera shut off every time I screen share?
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
So it's like the basic day, and then next week the average days.
I'm sorry, Gabe. What did you say? I could not hear you. I'm sorry. One more time for me.
So today is like the basic days.
Right. So Fridays are going to be either a test day or it's going to be small groups, a lot of discussion, reflecting on what we talked about throughout the week. And then you'll get your homework for over the weekend. Okay, guys, you might want to come back to your computer so we can get started if you're not here already. Hopefully you left your volume on so you can hear my loud voice. I have a few announcements. A couple of them are very serious, very serious. So it's important that you're paying attention and you're listening. So far, I only have Daniel back. Julian GB looks frozen, but I'm not sure if he's just sitting in the same position, but it doesn't look like he's blinked. Michael's back. Good. Okay. We can wait 2 seconds, one more minute for Elvie and Antonio to get back. This iPad that the school gave me is just going off. I don't know how to even use it that well. But I have an iPad now. Fancy. Okay, come on, guys.
Sorry, I'm still trying to get new to my new laptop because I just got it yesterday and I don't know how to use it.
Ooh, fancy. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Just make sure, I think the biggest button that you probably want to learn is the mute button. Other than that, you should be okay for now, but you're doing pretty well. And if you can't figure it out, I can mute you from my end, okay? Oh, there you go. You got it. Okay. So the rest aren't back, but I'm going to start anyway.
Hi.
Hi. So it turns out that us beginning late was not just, I guess, for our class. Miss C, I was chatting with her and I was asking her about her experience, and she said that it's been particularly awful. That her meeting sort of doing the same thing as it was to me this morning. It was saying that it couldn't connect to Wi-Fi. People were getting kicked. People have been getting kicked. She said it's particularly awful today. So I'm very glad that I'm not the only one that is losing her head over this Teams app. So she herself is probably going to begin using Zoom. So she said keep a lookout either on our Teams posts or an email. I'm sorry, I know it's taking us a while to get warmed up to Teams, and it's a little bit annoying to constantly have to change things, but we are all doing our best. Microsoft is very frustrating, and Zoom has been flawless so far, at least from last spring, and then in our first couple of meetings last week. So we're really getting sick of Teams. It's not very reliable, and we need reliability when we have to teach you guys in a short amount of time. So that is the first announcement. Okay, so please make sure you don't, wake up at 8:20 in the morning next Monday and you're trying to figure out everything, and you don't know where the new schedule or where the new link is. Our schedule's the same, but try your best to look out for it's on Sunday night so you know where to find it and where to click it, okay? Or early on Monday. And that's okay too, because if you don't know and you're confused, you could always chat me. I don't want you chatting me at 8:20 and I'm trying to reply to a bunch of chats, okay?
I'm just gonna try it the night before.
Good.
So I know what to do in the morning.
Good job, Elvie. Yeah, so
because from the experience I had with Teams, it didn't go so well.
Yeah, me too. I'm so annoyed that we lost like 15 minutes of class today. I don't know if you guys noticed, but that is a lot of time. That is literally half of social studies. And to be honest, that's my favorite subject to teach. So I'm really upset that it took away our time, especially our civil rights discussion. That could have been a really great one. So, yes, I'm over Teams. I'm sure you guys are over Teams. That's our first thing. Our second thing is a very, very important talk. It's very important that you guys are paying attention to what I'm saying, because it can be very serious sometimes, and it has to do with having access to so much internet, I don't know if any of you have heard of the word plagiarism. I know you guys are pretty young. You might not know exactly what it is, but you do, yeah. So we do understand that it's, maybe you've heard it before. Plagiarism is basically when you copy and paste directly from either somebody else's homework or from something online, you know. Yes, good, Michael. Yeah, so it's exactly when you copy someone. It can be someone you know, or it can be someone you don't know, like from the internet. I noticed on homework for both social studies feedback and for who our hero is, that was an issue, and I needed to tell you guys about it now before it happens again. Plagiarism is taken very seriously in a lot of schools. You could get kicked out for it. I remember my school, if you plagiarized one time, you got kicked out for academic dishonesty, meaning that you're not being honest, it's not your honest work, and that you guys are, and that whoever it is that's doing it is sort of like cheating. Okay, they're not doing their work, they're doing somebody else's, they're submitting somebody else's work. Even if you don't mean to in a harmful way, maybe you didn't really mean it that way, especially like, let's say on your hero assignment, you were just trying to tell me who your hero is, and that's fine, but you are supposed to do things in your own words. You are supposed to explain it in your own words. So Anani, this is kind of answering your question, but word for word copying is wrong. Even if you're changing one word, that is wrong. It has to have your own thought. Okay, it has to be your work. For those of you who did plagiarize on the past few assignments, I had to write your name down as I was going through in grading, and your parents will be receiving an email, and I will tag you along in the email, just so that they understand the severity. It's a very, very, very severe. It's very important that you don't let it happen again, because it can get you in a lot of trouble, and I will have to report it to Mr. Chico. Okay, so that's important that we talk about it now. Also, for our hero assignment, you got your feedback yesterday. A lot of you did really well. A lot of you, I was expecting a little bit more from. Remember, I had emphasized it in class that we were supposed to talk about who our hero was, but we were also supposed to talk about why that person was our hero. Okay, it was important to say the why, and important to give good reasons, not just like, oh, well, this person is really funny and cool, so he's my hero, or this person is the coolest, Fortnite player, or whatever the case is. It had to be somebody that you look up to, right? I said think about yourself and then think about who you want to be. So just take that into account, that reading the directions is going to be super important, okay? And if I say 5 sentences and I look and you have 4, you're going to get a point taken off, okay? And then moving forward, like I said, the seriousness of what we're going to begin learning, we're going to start using the textbook. I lesson planned for next week, and we have about like 10 different things we have to do in only one day, okay? It's like a very fast-paced schedule. We might not get through all of it, but English is something that, if you guys notice, you guys get tested on, right? You guys take those tests every year. When I was younger, it was called iStep. I know there's like iRead and things like that. So it's important that we pay close attention to our ELA lessons. Also, Scholastic Lit Pro was almost like a summer reading program for you guys. They're finally going to give me access to that. So please make sure that you've at least opened it, that you've at least been doing something on Scholastic Lit Pro. Ureli, I see that your mic is off. Do you have a question?
Well, Miss C, I think she emailed everybody that we have to take a test in order to read first.
Well, one more time, Ureli, you had to do what in order to do what?
That when you log into the Literacy Pro thingy, you have to first take a test.
Okay, like a test at school?
Yeah, in order to get your AR levels. She emailed people.
Okay. Yeah. Good. That's good information. Um, like I said, I'm very new to this. They're just sort of getting me on board with all of that, but they told me to remind you guys. But I'm glad Miss C is sort of updating you all. For social studies homework, Julian, yes, there is social studies homework. Thank you for not thank you for reminding me. I didn't want you to be that guy, but I almost forgot to tell you guys that on page 56 there are vocab words. There are 6 words. I think it's like let's see. Let me open your book now. So your book should look something like this. This lovely old big book. And on page 56, you'll see that there are 6 vocab words listed on the left-hand side. Pueblo, mesa, adobe, kiva, kachina, and hogan. And you're like, what do those words mean? Yeah, that's what the whole point of vocab is. So what I want you to do is 2 things for that. I want you to type it and turn it in because it's going to be on our assignments tab. But I would also like for you guys to have it written or printed if you want to print your typed version, whatever you have to do. Because on Monday we're going to do a couple quick exercises and I'm going to ask you guys a question and you're going to need to know the answer. And the vocab is, I'm going to ask you about the vocab, okay? And you're going to need to know what it means. If you want to try to memorize it already, that's fine too. But, or you can just have it written in front of you and that's fine for Monday. So, you're ready.
So for the homework, do we just need to write them down?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, you need to define them. So you need to write the words and you need to find the definition through the book.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start off with that basic stuff, just getting into vocab so that when we're reading the chapter, you guys can know what I'm referring to when I use those words, okay? Because they use those words a couple of times in the chapter, but if you don't know what they mean, then you're going to be very confused, okay? So it's on page 56. Page 56, there are 6 vocab words. I will put it in the chat. And I just want you guys to handwrite them would be preferable. I prefer if you guys can handwrite them just because I've noticed as a student myself, especially as a recent student, that it's easier to remember things if you write them out. If you type them out, it's just like, it's really quick. It's not as personal and I feel like your brain doesn't really process the information as well as it does for when you handwrite it, okay? And if you want to handwrite it and then take a picture and send that in and turn that in, that's fine too, okay? Just as long as you turn it in Teams and then have it in front of you for class on Monday. So don't forget, make sure you make a note of that. So ELA it's going to be a pretty fun day. Most of our Fridays are going to go like this. I can't remember who asked this. I think it was Gabriel Smith asked this question. He was like, our Friday is going to be more general. Miss C and I, if you notice on your schedule, it said, like Fridays are subject to change after a few weeks once we get more into it. Let me let Violetta ask her question, and then I'll get to finish what I'm saying. Go ahead, Violetta.
Can you repeat what you said? Because I couldn't really hear it that well.
Okay, that's fine. I said that we have homework over the weekend, page 56. So I'm going to type it as well in the chat. So homework for social studies, page 56, vocabulary words. I don't want you to just write them down. Write down the word and the definition. And then you're going to turn it in on Teams and also write it down and have it in front of you on Monday for class. Okay. That's basically what I was talking about, but it took me forever to just say that. So anyway, yes, so Friday, Gabriel.
So, so, um, so, you said we had homework for page 56 and 57.
It's not just on those pages, Gabriel. It's just that on page 56, you will see the vocabulary words listed in your book. They're on the left-hand side. I read them out loud. Yeah, I think it's like pueblo, mesa, and then a couple other words.
So we have to write them and write what they mean.
Exactly. And you'll find out
Okay.
what they mean in your book.
Okay. I know. I know. I done this before.
Okay, good. Good. Okay. So back to what I was saying. So Fridays are generally going to be either test days. So we're either going to have tests, or it is going to be like a fun day, like a discussion day, reflection day. Maybe I will, hopefully, I think I can do it on Zoom. I can put you guys into small groups and give you all a topic to talk about. And then when we come back, one person from each group will talk about it. And we can do like sort of activities like that to better understand what we learned throughout the week, especially when we start to learn harder things. So this Friday is a fun Friday, and then next Friday is going to be our very first test. ELA, you guys are going to have a lot more tests than you will on social studies. So the first test I'm going to do is a spelling test. I know it sounds weird, and you might think, like, how are you going to do a spelling test virtually? I'm going to do my best to figure out how I'm going to do a spelling test virtually. I don't know if I am going to have a Google form or another program. Mrs. R might be showing me how to do a certain program that lets me sort of check to see that, like, how you're doing when you log on to the test and how long it takes you to take the test. I shouldn't have to talk to you guys about academic honesty. I know being at home, there might be a temptation to sort of look at the correct answers, especially if they're right next to you. I would hope that you guys don't do that. I know that in your brains you might think like, well, it'll get me a good grade, so that's all that matters. But when school goes back to normal and you don't know how to spell, a certain word off the top of your head because, maybe you cheated on your exam, but you move on to 6th grade and you don't know how to spell that word in person in class, your teacher's going to know, and you'll just make yourself more behind. So the bigger the challenge, the better for you guys. It helps you in the long run, even if you feel like it doesn't. Okay. But I think that you guys are a good group of kids. I don't think I'll have that problem with you, and I put my trust in you guys that you guys will be respectful, not only to me, but to yourselves, okay? So that's a form of respecting yourself as well, and your future self. So next Friday will be a test. Today's a fun Friday. I might do like another Google form, almost like a survey, and we can plan for our next fun Friday. Remember, I said as much as I can to make class fun and exciting. We can do something silly if we want. We could do a pajama day. We could do a mixed match day. We can dress like our favorite TV character or something like that. Whatever you guys want to do to make things a bit more fun, interesting to be in class, especially for Fun Fridays, that would be fine by me. So today we are going to present some art from my 5B class. Pajama day. Okay, pajama day. I was thinking that could be a good first Fun Friday day because it'll be very easy. Whether you sleep in a t-shirt and whatever sweatpants you have, or you have a full pajama set, that as long as everything is appropriate, pajama day is fine. Raphael, do you have a question? I see your mic is off.
No, sorry, probably muted. Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's fine. All right, so let's get on to our art. So does everybody feel comfortable with their art being presented? No?
That's me, really. No.
No?
No.
Sure.
No. I can't.
I just blow
Horrible.
So how about this? Let's virtually raise our hands if you want your art presented, if you're okay with it being presented. And then don't forget to mute your mics when you're done talking. Okay, so this is awesome. I have a great amount of volunteers. I forgot to tell you guys. So this is how it would work normally. If I would have told you guys when I assigned it that your art was going to be presented, I would have just presented it. But since I forgot to tell you, you guys do have the option to not show it. But like I said, do not ever be embarrassed if you were like, I don't want everybody to see my art because I'm not good at drawing. You guys saw my art. That did not look like Harriet Tubman at all, not one bit. But okay, so hopefully you guys can see my screen. And we are going to go ahead and get started with our mini presentation. So we're going to start with Gabriel, and we're just going to go down my list. So it's going to go Gabriel, Julian, Emily, Antonio, Raphael, Violetta, and then that's it. Hopefully more hands will be raised by the time we get to the end, because that would just make things a lot more fun. Okay, so here we go. Miss Gomez 5B. Assignments. Maybe I'll stop screen sharing for now until I get to Gabriel's. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, no. Why is that happening? Okay, guys. So, first of all, let me just say that I noticed that a lot of your assignments are different. I haven't looked at all of them. This is one of my first times looking at all of your art. I think that some of us might not have quite checked all the boxes as to what I wanted on your art. I know I said I wanted things labeled. I wanted different colors. I wanted a lot of things. And like I said, it was our first project, and it might not have been quite understood of what I wanted from you guys. So as long as you did it and you tried your best, that's okay by me. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to screen share. We have Gabriel's here. So Gabriel, if you want to unmute your mic, you can present it, or I can present it for you.
So this is my grandpa. He doesn't usually wear blue and orange, but I just pretend that. He's very strong, and I don't know what to say.
Okay, I can go ahead for you, Gabe. You can go ahead and mute your mic if you want. So this is Gabriel's grandpa, who is his hero. We've heard about him a little bit in class. So he is brave, he is strong, he is kind, he's funny, he likes to play games, he likes to bike, and he loves to eat spicy food. Me too, Grandpa. It hurts my stomach sometimes. It didn't hurt my stomach when I was little. One time, when I was in 8th grade at St. Cass, I swear I used to eat like Takis for breakfast. I love Takis. I used to eat them all the time.
Me too.
Yep. So yeah, good job, Gabriel. That was a really good drawing. So who is next on my list? Let's take a look. We have Julian Rod. So let's go to Julian Rod. Ip Man. Have any of you seen the Ip Man film? This was a hero I was surprised to come across because I love the Ip Man films. Really funny movies. Pretty good too. So Julian Rod, I could just present for you if that's okay, unless you want to unmute your mic and do it yourself. So I'll give you 4 seconds to unmute your mic. If you don't do it in the 4 seconds, then I'm assuming you want me to present. That's a chat. Yes, I can do it for you. So this is Julian Rodriguez's hero. So if you guys haven't seen the film, Ip Man's almost like just I don't even know how to describe him. He's a fighter, but he's also he doesn't want to fight if he doesn't have to. He's just a really cool guy. The movie's on Netflix if you want to give it a watch. So here is Ip Man. So he always thinks about what his enemy's going to do. So that's why his head is sort of emphasized. That's a really good one. He has big muscles because he's strong. And he has cool hands for fighting. Let's say those are big hands. He has some emphasized feet because he kicks a lot. So Ip Man is a professional fighter. What else is this? He can see what his enemies are going to do, and that's why his eyes are so big. That's a really cool one. And I can't read the mouth, but he says good things. Yes. So Ip Man is almost like a very inspirational, peaceful guy, but he can also fight if he needs to, fight off the bad guys. So that is a really, really good example, Julian. Eyes are emphasized, head is emphasized, hands are super emphasized for fighting, the muscles are there, and the feet are there to emphasize his kicking skills, because he's like a ninja almost. Really, really good job. I enjoyed reading your story as well. So good job so far, guys. Really cool. Yeah, and he was Bruce Lee's master. Yes, I did read about that. Yeah, so he's almost like it's almost like the story of Bruce Lee. How did Bruce Lee become to be so good at fighting? Oh, because he had a really good person to train him, a really good master. And that's where Ip Man comes into place. I haven't watched the movie in a really long time, but I remember the first time I watched it, I was very surprised at how good it was. Good job, Julian. Let's get into Emily's, and then we'll do Antonio's and down the list. So I think, Emily, I don't know if you sent it to me or because it says you viewed it, but I know you did it. Maybe it's in my office. Let me check. Yes, here we go. I knew I had it somewhere. So can you guys see her drawing? If you can unmute your mics and say yes, because I can't see you, but I'm not quite sure if you can see.
Yes.
Yes.
You can see it? Okay. So this is a really great drawing. You know what I'm going to do? Drawing here. So Emily, would you like to present your art, or do you want me to do so? Oh, I forget that Emily does not have a mic. So yes, Miss Gomez, I am going to be the one presenting. So let's get started. So she has, I don't know if I'll pronounce her name, but I think it is Malala. Okay. Emily had a great story about Malala. She is actually a real person, and she is a very, big figure, I would assume, for women all over. If you don't know who she is, definitely go ahead and read on her. She's an advocate for education, and she is really, really, just really great. So let's get started. So Emily emphasized her head because she's very smart. I think that's great. She said that she's very brave, and she has a nice smile, so that's why that is so pretty and emphasizing. Her hands are a little bit dirty because she's hardworking. She has these great muscles because she's strong. She's never silent. So I think this has to do with, I don't know if this is a kind of, a microphone, duh. It's because it's sideways, I'm sorry. And she has a really big heart. Emily, this is really, really, really good. I love it. I think you did a great job at depicting your person. And yeah, that's a really good job, Emily. I think everybody so far has been doing really great. You all have such different art. It's awesome. Like I said, remember, art is different. It looks different for all. Some people get more, everybody just looks different. So that's really great. Let's see who's next. Antonio, and then Gracia.
I forgot to mark the things on mine, so I didn't mark anything. It's just a drawing.
Okay, that's fine. So how about this? Since your mic, here we are. Since your mic is working, why don't we let you present it then?
All right.
Okay. Don't worry, no pressure. You're gonna do just fine. Let's find you. Last name is Johnson. Why isn't it loading is the question. Let's try it on my computer. There we go. Good. Okay. Okay, Antonio. So go ahead and talk about what you were thinking when you drew this.
I was gonna draw like sweatpants, but then I just drew some shorts because me and my dad play a lot of basketball and stuff.
Uh-huh.
He used to have a big beard, but then he went to a barber shop and cut it off. So I don't know why I put that
Yeah, I
still.
was about to say.
I think blue is one of his favorite colors, so that's why I drew shirt blue. The only reason why there's little white lines in shoes because I was trying to make a Nike sign, but that kind of failed because he wears Nikes a lot sometimes. His hair. His eyebrows were kind of big, so I kind of made them a little big, and his eyes are like that because he's cool and he's chill, and he doesn't get mad a lot. Well, kind of sometimes.
Good. Okay, so the only thing is it cut off when you were talking about his hair. I heard you say his hair, and I couldn't hear you.
Well, don't. Yeah, his hair is nothing. I didn't do anything about it. I couldn't think anything about his hair, but like.
That's
Yeah.
fine. I thought you were saying something like there was something special about his hair. And I didn't hear. I didn't want to miss it.
Mhm.
Okay, really good. I like it. I like the very chill eyes. I get it. My dad is chill. He doesn't yell a lot. He's like my best friend. So, very cool that you have a hero dad. That's awesome. So good job, Antonio. Let's see who's next. So I finally figured out how to work this iPad so I can watch you guys and still screen share. So that's pretty cool. If only I know how to work it. Okay, so Gracia is up next. So Antonio and Emily, if you can lower your hands so that I can see who else is coming up on the list. So thank you guys. Gracia and then Violeta. So let's get to 5B assignments. No, this is different. Gracia, what's your last name? Oh, her hand went down. So we don't want to present our art, Gracia. We'll do Violeta and then we'll wait for her answer. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to show it if she's not comfortable. Oh, this is great already. How sweet. Why isn't it?
Something's not working.
Okay, so we can, for some reason, we can't see everything. Maybe
I just heard Gracia say something's not working, and then I don't know what happened.
Okay, Gracia, are you okay? Is your mic not working? That is not what I want. Oh my gosh, what is going on? Oh. I hope Teams doesn't crash again because I cannot have this happen before 5B. Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
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 Yes. Is everything okay with you?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So,
It kicked me out.
okay. All right. Sorry, Aurelie. I don't know what's going on. It's been frustrating all morning. Let's get started with Violetas, okay? So this is Antonio's, not Violetas. Here is Violetas, and she did Rosa Parks. So Violeta, do you want to present, or would you like for me to do it?
Can you do it?
Okay. So, Violeta. Okay, so everybody else can mute their mics. Get Nani in here. And then we'll get started. So, oh my gosh, she keeps opening Antonio's. Violeta, she wrote about Rosa Parks. She said that she's very pretty, so she emphasized how pretty she is. She has a bigger head maybe because she's smart. She has her heart showing because she is a very loving heart. She emphasizes her hands because she is helpful. Okay. She is also loyal. She is certainly brave, and she also thinks that she is funny. So, really good job, Violeta, on your hero. Very colorful, followed all the rules. Really, really good job. So let's get to Daniel P. So Daniel P, would you like for me to present it for you, or do you feel comfortable doing it yourself?
I can do it myself.
Awesome. Okay, let's get it on the screen, and I will mute my mic. And present. So,
This is my brother, and I want to become like him. He's smart, and he has a big heart, and he fixes computer, and he doesn't tell me to give up, and he's my brother, and he's a role model, basically, to me.
good job, Daniel. You're welcome. So, yeah, so here, Daniel emphasized the big heart, the good grades. He helps with his computer. It almost looks like you made a comic strip. So that was really, really cool. Good job, Daniel. And let's see who we have next as a volunteer. Elvie, have you decided that you are comfortable with showing your art?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Can you like do it for me? Like read it?
sure. Here we have it. Okay, so you guys can see this, right? And Elvie, mistake me if I'm wrong. Is your hero your mother?
Yeah.
Okay. So her hero is her mom. She might have a big head here because she is smart. She emphasized that she's very pretty. She is also very generous, and she hears it. You know, somebody says you are very generous. She puts her heart over her shirt because she's very loving. I don't know why it's. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, Elvie. She's very cool. So she's probably super stylish here. She has a really funny book, so she's emphasizing that she's pretty funny and that she's very nice, and she hears it a lot from other people. So that's a really good drawing, Elvie. You got really creative with it, and I like that. I like her funny book. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that was a good job. Anybody else? So Violetta's hand is just still up. I'm just going to lower it, okay, Violetta? Unless you have a question, you can go ahead and ask it. No? Okay, so let's see what's going on. Let me stop this. Okay. Daniela got kicked. So I probably should have done my own original art, but I did my one for Harriet Tubman. And like I said, I'm not an artist, so that was just exhausting for me to do all of that work and all of that art. So we are done with that. Gracia, can you hear us? Did you want to present your art? You can go yes or no. Yes. Okay. You don't have to. I was just asking because I know your hand was up earlier, but then I think it wasn't working. So let's see what Gracias is all about. I will screen share in a second when I get to hers. Oh, this is so cute. Okay. Let's share. So, Gracia, I know that you probably wrote it, but I'm trying to remember who you wrote your hero about, if it was your mother or your sister or your aunt. You can type it in the box, or you can tell me now if your mic is working. Who are we looking at?
It's my aunt. I don't have a sister. I only have a brother.
It's your who?
My aunt.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was your tia. Okay, so this is her aunt, and her name is Veronica, okay? She's a nurse, so she made sure she put her nurse's hat on. She's very beautiful, so she made sure that her face was very beautiful, emphasize those features. She might have a bigger head because she's super smart, and she's giving out love, and she's super nice, okay? She's a strong lady, so she might have some big muscles here. She she works in the hospital, so she has her hospital bag, and she is very loving, so she wears her heart on her shirt. Okay, this is a really really good one, Gracia. It's exactly what we were looking for. Everybody who volunteered did really good, and you guys are all really great for volunteering. I know that some of you might feel like a little embarrassed or nervous, but I think doing stuff like this will make us more comfortable with each other. As long as we're all being nice to each other and respectful, then I think it will be fine. We shouldn't be worried about embarrassing ourselves in front of each other. I might say something silly one day and you guys might all laugh at me, and that's okay. I'm not going to get mad at you. I want you guys to all be comfortable and friendly with each other and not worried about embarrassing yourselves, okay? It's not about being cool. It's more about just being comfortable and getting our work done together. So that concludes us for today. I knew English was probably going to get let out a little early. Actually, no, that doesn't conclude us. Sorry. You guys have a spelling test next Friday. Woo! Yeah, so today I am going to... Yeah, I have two things to say. So today I'm going to list your spelling words. There's not going to be a lot, but I really need you guys to start practicing them. Write them out 3 by 3s, flashcards. I don't know how, I don't know what you're going to do. You can do Quizlet. I wrote down a bunch of things you guys can do. But the thing that might help is writing them down 3 times. I know you're like, who wants to do that? That's so boring. But it'll help you memorize how to spell. It'll help you memorize really fast too. For some reason, the writing times, it sends certain signals to your brain, from your hand to your brain, and then your hand just starts to be able to write those words on its own as if your hand had a memory, if that makes any sense. So try and do that. Maybe ask a friend, mom, dad, you guys yourselves can maybe have your own Zoom call if your parents give you permission. And let's say LV is in the Zoom call and she says, "Okay, Antonio, ready on the count of 3, spell this for me." And you have to practice at the top of your head. Study groups like that, they can be fun and they can actually be a lot more helpful than you think. Okay, so consider that, maybe other kids from class to figure out if that would work, as long as your parents are okay with that. Anani, I see you have your mic muted. Do you have unmuted? Do you have a question? No? Okay. So the spelling words are going to be listed after class. Okay, I'm going to write the whole list of them. There's not a lot. Also, I know I kept saying like stuff about the seriousness of what we're going to be learning, and that's where I want to get into as well. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my grading, I haven't really been grading you guys for spelling or punctuation or grammar or anything like that. I've sort of just been giving you my feedback and giving you points for completion, just making sure you follow the instructions and you turn in the assignment and you were getting, 5 out of 5s. From now on, I have to start grading based on those things. So if you spelled something wrong, you'll get a point off. If you don't put the right punctuation mark, you will get a point off. If you don't use grammar correctly or something like that, I'm going to have to start grading a bit different. So if you notice that you're not getting hundreds on everything, that's okay. But the grading, it's because the grading has to change, and now I have to sort of look for those things. So basically what I'm saying is, make sure you're not typing things really quickly and then just turning them in. I was reading a few assignments. If everybody can sit up, by the way. I was reading a few assignments. Sorry, Antonio, I know you're getting comfy. But I was a little disappointed because it looked like some of you guys were just like trying to type to get it done and then turn it in. There were some really, really easy mistakes that I think you guys would have noticed even in 3rd grade, okay? I understand that we don't all know everything, but there were a lot of those little mistakes that should not have happened, okay? I gave you full credit because I told you that these were for completion, but from now on, if I noticed that you were rushing to turn your assignment in, or you didn't follow the instructions and the directions, then I'm going to mark you points down, okay? If I say I want 5 sentences and I want 7 this, 7 that, and 7 this or whatever, and you're only giving me 4 sentences with 2, 1, and 1, you're going to get probably only 1 out of 5, okay? That's a really bad grade. So make sure you're following the directions and you're proofreading, okay? And it's okay if mom and dad proofread. That's fine. Or grandma or sister or brother, whatever. As long as they are not writing your things for you and changing, a lot of stuff of yours, that's okay. But if you're a little bit nervous and it's a bigger assignment, you can always ask. Or you can ask me to proofread it. If you give it to me, if it's due tomorrow at 8 in the morning and you give it to me the day before at like 4 p.m. and say, "Miss Gomez, I finished, but can you look at this?" And I can make notes and tell you, "Hey, look at the first sentence. Maybe your spelling's not right for all the words, okay?" And that's okay. It's not cheating. And then when you turn it in, you'll get a better grade because you already have some help from me. And I'm the one that's going to be giving you the grades. So don't be afraid to reach out to me too on homework. I can always check your homework for you, okay? Sound good? Okay. So this weekend, you guys, for me, you have to write down your vocab, have it in the computer and in front of you for Monday's class, and then just start looking at your spelling words, okay? If you practice for maybe 10 minutes every day, you probably do just fine on the test. And that's all. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, and 3rd thing, Zoom. Look out for Zoom, okay? Okay, no questions. You guys are free to go. Thank you for being very patient and understanding. Hopefully the same thing doesn't happen in Miss C's class if you guys have her for math, because she's still chatting and saying that she's having a lot of problems. So be patient with her, okay?
Boy.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Fortnite, watch lots of cartoons, and eat lots of junk food.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Hey, Lily, how are you doing? Lily, can you hear me? I seen a hand. I know you're there. Your mic is muted. Lil, if you are there and you have any questions, or I think Claudia's still in this meeting. Okay. That's a good way to put it too. It was a movement. Good. Does anybody else? Julia.
I was gonna say the same thing that Sophia said.
Yes. Okay. Good. Anybody else? Abril, go ahead. Let's hear what you were thinking.
Isn't it like a ginormous protest that like